The silent routine, why samurai spoke less, achieved more in an era where every second is filled with notifications, opinions, and noise. The ancient samurai offer a surprising lesson that feels almost revolutionary today. Silence is power. For Americans constantly pushed to speak up, stay visible, and react quickly, the samurai remind us that greatness is rarely loud. The silence was not weakness, it was intention, clarity, and mastery. And in a world that rewards volume, their quiet discipline may be exactly what modern minds need. The samurai understood that real strength does not come from saying more, but from saying less with purpose. They trained in silence, fought with a calm mind, and built their identity around restraint. To them, silence was not emptiness, it was a sharpening stone. In the early morning, long before the first clash of swords, a samurai would practice the same movement hundreds of times. No music, no distractions, only breath, precision, and internal focus. They knew that mastery grows in quiet, not chaos. Today, the American lifestyle often does the opposite, filling every gap with noise, multitasking, and rushing. But silence teaches the mind to aim before it shoots, to choose before it reacts, and to think before it speaks. To the samurai, words were weapons just as dangerous as blades. A careless insult could create enemies. A thoughtless promise could destroy honor. A reckless comment could trigger conflict. Because words carried weight, they didn't waste them. They believed that if something did not improve the silence, it should not be said. It is a simple principle, yet it could resolve half the conflicts Americans face today. Arguments started out of anger, text sent too quickly, criticism spoken without understanding. We live in a culture that encourages constant expression and instant replies, but expression without intention is noise. The samurai understood that silence is not passive, it is disciplined self-control. Speaking less meant thinking deeply, listening fully, and choosing words that mattered. Silence also forged emotional strength. Fear, anxiety, and overthinking grow louder in a noisy mind. The samurai learned to quiet their inner storms through breath, stillness, and presence. Before stepping onto a battlefield, they would calm their breath, slow their heartbeat, and empty their thoughts. They believed that fear lives in confusion and dies in clarity. Modern Americans face different battles: stressor, financial worry, uncertainty, but the principle remains the same. A calm mind makes better decisions. Silence is not escape, it is strategy. It helps you see what is real instead of reacting to every emotion or external trigger. Another overlooked strength of their silence was observation. The samurai could read a person without hearing a single word. They watched posture, breath, hesitation, intention. They understood that most communication is silent, something modern psychology agrees with completely. Speaking less allowed them to hear more, and hearing more allowed them to understand people better than those who talked constantly. In American workplaces and relationships, this is a powerful skill. The one who listens deeply understands the room. The one who understands the room holds the advantage. Silence isn't passive, it's perception. Silence also protected the samurai's energy. They believed energy is finite, wasted through unnecessary conversation, gossip, or emotional reactions, and you weaken your impact. But conserve it, and your actions become sharper, your presence stronger. This is why when a samurai finally spoke, people listened. Not because he was loud, but because he was intentional. In a modern world where attention spans shrink and everyone fights for relevance, the strategy of speaking less ironically makes you stand out more. People remember those who talk with purpose, not those who talk the most. Their silence kept them anchored to purpose. Samurai rituals such as tea ceremonies, meditation, slow walks, and calligraphy were not hobbies, they were methods to return to themselves. These quiet routines helped them hold on to their identity in a chaotic world. Today, Americans often feel pulled in many directions by social expectations, constant connectivity, and the pressure to keep up. But when you remove noise, you find clarity, what matters, what drains you, what deserves your time, and who you really are. The samurai believed a person without silence becomes a person without direction, easily influenced, easily distracted, easily shaken. Even though our world is drastically different, anyone can apply the samurai silent routine today. A few minutes of morning quiet before checking your phone. A block of work done with no music or notifications. A moment of pause before speaking, asking whether your words add value or simply fill space. A silent evening reflection to review your choices. A weekly walk without headphones, letting your mind reset. These small acts create a powerful shift. Silence builds intention, intention builds clarity, and clarity builds strength. The samurai proved that greatness does not require noise. Their lives remind us that speaking less does not diminish your presence, it amplifies it. Silence does not make you smaller. It makes your actions larger. In a culture that equates volume with value, choosing silence is a form of quiet rebellion and a return to inner power. When you cultivate stillness, you respond instead of react. You observe instead of assume. You act with precision instead of impulse. You build a life that is grounded, focused, and deeply your own. The silent routine is not about being distant or emotionless. It is about being conscious, intentional, and strong. The samurai spoke less because they understood something profound. The world listens more closely to those who do not waste words. And in your own modern journey, whatever battlefield you face, this ancient truth remains as sharp as any blade.